Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Collaborative Research Support Engagement Series brought to you by University Science Malaysia Library. My name is Arinawati Ayub, your moderator for this webinar with the title Tips and Guide to Publish in MyCite Indexed Journals. For your information, the objective of today's webinar is to share latest updates on Malaysian Journal Management System, which is called as MyJournal, and also Malaysian Citation Indexed MyCite, a citation system by Pusat Citasi Informatik, which formerly known as Malaysia Citation Centre (MCC). This webinar will cover the procedure on how to register a journal in MyJournal and how to get a journal to be indexed in MyCite. The advantage of publishing in MyCite journals will be also discussed in this webinar. Before we start, there's a few announcements. For all participants, all of you will be given an e-certificate, and the CPD point for University Science Malaysia staff will be given to you. But before that, you will need to fill out our feedback form, which the link will be given towards the end of the session. If there's any question from the participant, you can write down on our chat board. The committee will compile all the questions, and the relevant question will be responded by our speaker during the Q&A session. Okay, we would like to welcome our invited speaker, Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dato Dr. Roslan Abdul Shukor. Assalamualaikum, Dato.
Waalaikumsalam, Puan.
Hopefully everything is fine on your side. Thank you for accepting our invitation as a speaker for today's series. Before we start, I would like to read a simple biodata that we received from Dato. Our speaker today is Professor Dato Dr. Roslan Abdul Shukor, who is currently a researcher in Department of Applied Physics at University Kebangsaan Malaysia. His research focuses on high temperature superconductor materials. He has written a number of books, including Managing Scholarly Journals with Editor, What Editors Should Know, and one interesting title, Einstein di Malaya. Okay, I think everyone will should read this special title from Professor Dato. Okay. And Professor Dato has been a visiting fellow at the Department of Physics, Texas, and at A&M University and Princeton University. He has served as an editor of several journals, including Superconductor Science and Technology. He is currently the chairman of the MyCite Journals Technical Review Committee. That's about the speaker today. So without further ado, I would like to call upon our speaker, Yang Bahagia Dato, Professor Dato Dr. Roslan Abdul Shukor, to proceed with the presentation. Please welcome. Thank you. Over to you, Dato.
Thank you, Puan Arinawati, and thank you to USM Library for inviting me to give this talk today on behalf of the Malaysian Citation Centre. So actually, this is my first time giving this talk, so I hope I can do it well. Okay. I understand that you can ask questions through the chat box, so I'll be happy to answer those questions. You can address a question in English or Malay. Okay. So my slide today is primarily will be in Bahasa, but I will speak as much as possible in English because we promise, as promised in the poster for this talk, it is the title is in English. Okay. Right. So you can download the PowerPoint scanning through this QR code. I will flash this QR code again at the end of this talk. Okay. So let me try to make be comfortable with this this StreamYard. Okay, so you can email me at that email address if you have any question after this, in the future. All right. So objective of this talk is to introduce what is MyJournal and what is MyCite, and also MyJMS, Malaysian Journal Management System, which uses the OJS. It is a service given by MCC to all journals in Malaysia for free. In other words, you can park your journal at this site without any pay. Okay, and I will also tell you how to get your journal listed in MyJournal. Okay, it's called listed. Okay, and how to get your journal indexed in MyCite. So those are two different index or listing of journals in Malaysia. And then the most important thing today is what journals are indexed in MyCite, because a journal index in MyCite recently counted in MyRA KPI for the university. Okay, so previously journal index in MyCite are not counted, but recently it's counted. So I think it's proper that you have a look at MyCite journals and see if it's suitable for you to publish in those MyCite Indexed Journal. Okay, we are familiar with Scopus and WAS. Okay, so Scopus and WAS are international indexing body, and MyCite is a Malaysian indexing body. I think it's a good idea to have this indexing body in Malaysia so that we can have all of our research and knowledge and so on to be properly indexed for the country. All right, so that's basically the objective of this talk. Okay, let me go to the next slide. All right, so these are some of the these are the three systems that we have in Pusat Citasi MCC. Number one is MyJournal. Okay, MyJournal is listing all, as much as possible, journals in Malaysia. Okay, so editors should send their application to be listed in MyJournal. Okay, so and then you will have your journal listed, and then you will have your title, abstract, and keywords at least. Okay, in this database. Okay, that's number one. That's MyJournal. Currently, there are more than 1,000 journals in MyJournal. Okay, so basically, we say that there are about more than 1,000 journals in Malaysia. Okay, right. Number two is MyCite. Okay, MyCite are journals that have been selected. Okay, from MyJournal. Okay, those journals that meets the criteria for MyCite based on certain evaluation by a number of a committee. They are given guides and a rubric to follow, and based on that, we will select these journals for MyCite. Okay, so if you want to follow the MyRA will only give credit for MyCite journal, but not MyJournal. Okay, so you need to beware that whether that journal is in MyCite or only in MyJournal. Okay, so that's number two. So MyCite ni is like the Scopus of Malaysia lah. Okay, so you see there bagi jurnal ilmiah terpilih, ya, selected journals in MyCite. There are currently more than 340 journals in this in MyCite. Okay, all right. Number three, we have MyJMS, which is a journal management system. This is what I said just now, which is actually a service given to Malaysian journal who wish to park their journal here, so that they can can be used as a journal website, handling the review process, and so on. Okay, so it's free, then and you don't have to worry about maintaining it. Okay, so if you have a journal and you want to park somewhere, you can park at a Malaysian Journal Management System, which is actually an OJS, and currently they are using version 3.0. Okay, and from time to time, MCC also conduct a workshop on how to use this system. Okay, right. Okay, slide number 4. So this is the website. You can refer to this later to the PDF that I provided. Okay, so these are the 3 websites. Okay, right. Let's see. All right, so this is MyCite, number 1, and then this is MyJournal, and then this is Malaysian Journal Management System for the OJS. So these are the 3 sites. Okay, so MyCite would have selected journals, and this is the website here, mycc.mohi.gov.my. So from here, you can actually find the 300 plus journals, okay, which is indexed in MyCite. In MyJournal, you have more than 1,000 journals. So journal that wish to be considered for MyCite, you can actually register for MyJournal. You stay there for at least 2 years, and then you are ready to be evaluated for MyCite. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Okay. Other than Malaysia, there are some other countries also that actually have their own citation center. Okay, this is a Chinese social science citation index. Okay, citation information and from the National Institute of Informatics, Indians citation index, Korean citation index, Korean science citation index, Thai journal citation center, index center, and Taiwan. Okay, and we have also Asian citation index. Okay, ACI. ACI is based in Thailand, and MCC were given the authority to suggest journal for indexing in ACI. Okay. Right. So yearly we will look at our journals in MyCite, and then maybe 10 or 15 of them will be recommended for ACI. Okay. Right. Next. So as I've told you just now, in my journal, we have more than 1,000 journals listed, and more than 136,000 articles in there. In MyCite, you have 354 journals. So these are the journals. I'm not saying that you should not publish in MyJournal, but if you want it to be counted in MyRA, you need to publish in these 354 journals. Okay. So it's counted in MyRA. Okay. And then these are okay. So there are a few graphs in my slide here today. You can ignore them. So I show this slide, this graph for completeness, okay, just in case you want to refer to how many journals, how many papers, and so on by year. You can look back at this PowerPoint, okay? So so that's the progress of journals in MyCite and number of journal in MyJournal, okay? So I hope by now you can distinguish between MyJournal and MyCite. Those are 2 different things. So we call, if your journal is in MyJournal, you say MyJournal is listed in MyJournal, not indexed in MyJournal, okay? But if your journal is in MyCite, you call it that MyJournal is indexed in MyCite, okay? So MyJournal is listed, MyCite is indexed. Okay, right. So in ACI, there are 152 Malaysian journals. In Scopus, there are 105 Malaysian numbers keep changing. Okay, so this gives us an idea of the journals that in Scopus. So this is changing. Okay, so that's is slightly more than 100 journal in Scopus. In Web of Science, okay, there are 13 journals in Web of Science which has impact factor. Okay, 13 Malaysian journals. So out of the 1,000 journals, 354 in MyCite, 105 in Scopus, and 13 in WAS. Okay, all right. So WAS has another category which is called the ESCI. Okay, in ESCI we have quite a substantial number of Malaysian journal in that database, which is a part of WAS. Okay, so the good news is that all these journal in ESCI will begin to get impact factor by this June of 2023. Okay, so so Malaysia will have hundreds of journal with impact factor in June 2023. Okay, right. Although currently it's not counted in MyRA, those ESCI journal, once it is one is given an impact factor, we have to wait and see what MyRA would like to do with that. Okay, so in 2023, the ESCI journal will have impact factor, and in 2024, those ESCI journal with impact factor will be assigned quartile. In other words, they will get Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, that will happen in 2024. Okay, so now what happened is that more journals will be interested to get into ESCI. Okay, right, because now it will have impact factor. Okay, let's go back to our MyCite. So MyCite last time is not counted in MyRA, and not many journals are interested to go to get indexed in MyCite. Now it's counted. There are more journals interested to get indexed. Okay, now it's a good time if you are a journal editor to try to get into MyCite, because we don't know what happened in the future. Maybe the marks for MyRA for MyCite journal will be increased. Okay, so the faster you do it, the better, because once the many journals are in, it's quite difficult to get into. All right. Okay. All right. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, these are the numbers. Okay, you can refer to that if you wish later. Okay, most of them, the blue ones, most of them are the papers showing originate from universities. Universities. So the blue ones. Okay, these are the journals in ACI. Okay, on the left. And we have, let's say, 354 in MyCite, okay, and the 152 in ACI. Okay, so the 354 in my journal in MyCite is actually for year 2021. Okay, so for year 2022, we just finished with 2022. So all journals should have published their articles by then. Okay, and then we will start evaluating 22 journals quite soon. Okay, so then we have the numbers for that. So it started with 225, 283, 289, 312, and 354. Okay, the percentage of success is about 20%. Okay, so about 20% of the journal evaluated are successfully indexed in MyCite, and 80% are not. Okay, so you can see it's quite stringent. Okay, so that 20% is also the same as when WAS evaluating journal worldwide, they also come up with about 20% success rate. Okay, Right. So this on the right you have journal in WAS and Scopus. Okay. So in WAS we have about 13 journals from the past 5 years. And in Scopus, we increase from 82 to 105. So you see, as time goes on, the number of journal accepted in Scopus every year is quite low. Okay, because as we progress along, the the criteria become stringent. Okay, so that's why I told you, if you have a journal, you may want to get your journal index in MyCite as fast as possible, because as time goes on, it's going to be harder. Okay. So in other words, they look at more things, look at very stringent, look at your format, look at your quality of papers, and so on. So it's quite become harder to be indexed in Scopus. Okay, so these are some background on MyCite. Okay, to improve the quality of journal publication in Malaysia. MyCite is a national indexing body. Okay, and I will tell you the criteria for MyCite in just in a little bit. Okay, MyCite is an indicator in Myra. Is developed by expert in journal management. Okay, they are most of them are either chief editor of journals in Malaysia which are successful, okay, or some expert in journal publication in general. Okay, so what we do is we combine the criteria to from Scopus and WAS and ACI, and using all the criteria, we come up with a rubric that is used to evaluate the journal. Okay, and evaluation is done in July through September. Okay, and by the end of the year, before the end of the year, we will publish the journal that are successfully indexed. Okay. Now, in previous years, what have been done is that we look through MyJournal, look at all the journal that's not been indexed, and from there we select the one that is almost ready. Okay, in other words, it's timely, reasonably good format. The articles are reasonably good, okay, readable, and then out of that, we select maybe 10% of those, and then evaluated by the experts, and from there we come up with the final list. Okay, so but starting this year, the journal will have to apply. Dia kena mohon tahun ni kena mohon. Dulu automatic, but this year they will have to apply to get index in MyCite. Okay, so I think there will be some announcement sometime this year on call for application for indexing in MyCite. Okay, so this is the bulk of the talk today. What journal are in MyCite? There are 354 journals, and this is the list. Okay, you can't see it, right? You can't see it. So so I put the QR code here so that you can download the PDF file of the 354 journals that are indexed in MyCite. Okay, so I will also put this QR code at the end of the talk. Okay, it is also this list is also available on the MyCite website, right? MyCite.mohe.gov.my. So these are the journals that in MyCite. Okay, so number 1 until 352 or 354. Okay, so if you're writing a paper and you're thinking about publishing it in the MyCite Indexed Journal, you go to this MyCite, to this site, and then you can have a look at the title of the 354 journals that are indexed in MyCite. Okay, so maybe you want to take note of this website, because the list that I given you just now is going to be updated every year. Okay, so that's it's arranged alphabetical order in this slide. Okay, so and then 352. There are 2 more. I think maybe there's not enough data to add when I do the screenshot. Okay, that to show the last 2, the 253 and 353 to 354. Okay, so these are the journals that are in MyCite. Okay. Okay. So statistic journal MyCite. So you have the institutions. Okay, the graph on the right. You have, let's say, you have UITM with 35 journal titles, UKM with 33, UM with 31, UPSI 19, USM 16, and so on and so on. So these are the main institution with journal in MyCite. Okay. Okay, how do you get to be listed in MyJournal? Okay, you need to register first. So you go to MyJournal, okay, myjournal.mohe.gov.my. And by the way, this MCC is trying to update their website, okay, because it's not been updated for a while. So maybe in the future we will have a new page, okay, but basically with the same feature, maybe some extra feature, right? So you go to this myjournal.mohe.gov.my, and then you click on register, right? Let's see, and then you fill out the form. Title, ISSN, EISSN, okay, attach a copy of ISSN or EISSN proof of registration from Perpustakaan Negara, okay, and publisher, and so on. If you don't have this, you may want to contact National Perpustakaan Negara, okay, to get this copy. All right. So once you do that, let's see, you would be, I think it's quite automatic that you will be listed in MyJournal. Okay. The main thing is that your journal has a website, so that it's easy to index the journal. Okay. And also there are cases where to update your journal, some journal are given the freedom to update themselves, okay, because I think MCC pun short of manpower to do the updating on time, so editors are also given the opportunity to update themselves, okay, their journal themselves. Okay, let's see, what's this? So these are the things that needed, okay, information that's given for each journal: the ISSN number, publisher, publication type, okay, and frequency, and the journal website, and the contact information, and so on. Okay, so these are standard thing that you need to have. Okay, you can have your own website. Okay, so you can have your own website. or you can park it at Malaysian Journal Management System. Okay, so either way. Right. So it's the same thing. You have your abstract, your title, and so on. It's the same thing as what we have found in Scopus. Okay. Okay. So come to the next one, which is how to get your journal index in MyCite. Okay. So beginning 2023 is by application. Okay. Macam sama lah. It's the same thing as we did for Scopus, right? So we need to apply ourselves rather than being chosen by MyCite as previously. Okay, so you need to apply yourself. We will give you the criteria, and if you think that you met the criteria, you can apply. Okay. Summary: how to get index. Timeliness. The journal is published on time. Okay. The journal should state that, okay, this journal is published twice a year in June and December. Okay, so it's not sufficient just to say twice a year. You need to spell out the month of its publication, and because we need to make sure that you publish on time. Okay. Field, subject, and scope. State the scope clearly. One thing that which is good for you, not only for MyCite but also for Scopus, is that your field and scope must be unique. Okay, so it must be unique. If the journal has a very generic name, example, Malaysian Journal of Science and Technology, that's a very generic, it covers everything. Those journals are already indexed in MyCite, indexed in Scopus, indexed in WAS. Okay, so maybe those indexing body would not want to index those anymore. So you want to think about a scope that is quite unique. Okay, and then the editorial board, diversity from different universities, from different countries, from different continent. Okay, and editorial board should also have high citation and H-index, high H-index. Okay, so editorial board. That also include the international advisory board. Okay, so get as prominent as possible, prominent researcher in your editorial board and advisory board. Okay, manuscript submission guideline. A journal should have sufficient information so that authors can submit to your journal properly. Okay, it's not sufficient to have template. Okay, you need to have an essay on how the manuscript should be written. Okay, in addition to a template. Okay, for example, you need to tell the authors what are the reference style. Okay, what the structure of the article normally is, title, abstract, introduction, method, result, discussion. So you need to have sufficient information. Okay. Ethics statement is a comprehensive ethics statement. So I highlight that, a comprehensive ethics statement, so that everybody involved, okay, the editor, the author, the referee, know what are expected of them in terms of ethics. Okay, and then we need to state the peer review type. Is it single blind or double blind? Okay, and how many reviewer? Okay, how many reviewer? Acknowledgement, number 7, stated for every published article. In other words, at the end of your paper, each journal, each article should state the acknowledgement. In other words, even if you don't have any research grant, maybe you can say thank you to the department, okay, for supporting this work, because these are needed, okay, these are needed for most indexing databases, okay. Okay, number 8 is indexing in databases, index in relevant database. For example, index in Scopus, index in chemical abstract, index in metal abstracts, something like that, okay? Even if you have not, even if the journal is not indexed in Scopus or WAS yet, maybe we can try to get it indexed in the smaller indexing agencies, okay? All right, let me go to the next one. Timely peer review. Okay, so each article should be processed in a reasonable time frame. Okay, so each article should have received, accepted, and publication date on every published article. Okay, so because we want to know whether a journal is properly managed, we have to look at your receipt date and accepted date. Okay, if your receipt date and accepted date is within 2 or 3 months or less, or 5 or 6 months, means that the journal is properly managed. But if the receipt and accepted date is more than a year, in other words, it's not properly managed. Okay. If there are some times which you have received accepted date within a very short period, also it's not good. Okay. In other words, it's not properly processed. Okay, so be as truthful as possible with the receive. Be truthful with the receive and accepted date. Okay, overall presentation of articles, layout, clarity, and the quality of tables and figure. Okay, so this is also true when we publish our own paper. It should have a nice layout. Okay, the tables and figure of high quality. When we look at the journals which are we are considering the journal for indexing, we read the whole articles. You take a few articles and read the whole thing, and we normally find a lot of mistakes. Okay, a lot of mistakes in the abstract, in the overall writing. Okay. Also, the tables and figures are of low quality. Okay, so we need to improve those. There are tables which are break into two pages, even though you can actually fit it in one page. Okay, so make the presentation of the articles look really professional. Okay. Best practice and transparency statement number 11. You need to state the journal owner. Are there any processing charge? Who is the copyright owner, and who is the journal sponsor? Okay, this is important because we want to know who is actually publishing this journal and why. Okay. Number 12, number of articles, consistent number of articles in every issue. In other words, if one issue has, let's say, 10 articles, so the next issue should also have about the same, maybe 8 or 15 or even 20, consistent number of articles. Okay. In the end, if you can try, many people ask me what is the minimum number of articles for a year. Okay. There is no written rule on the minimum number of articles per year, but I would suggest at least 20 articles per year. In other words, if you have 2 issues, you should have about 10 articles per issue. So you have about 20 articles per year. Okay, you should try that. Okay. Why is low number of articles not good? If it's low number, it means that the journal is not very healthy. Okay, so it doesn't have promising longevity. Okay, it may die. So So 20 is a good number, but it's not a must number. Okay. Number 13, language. The article provides a title, abstract, and keywords in English for every published article in other languages. Okay, so you can your journal can be in Arabic or in Malay or in Chinese and Japanese, but the three things there are three things to have to be in English: title, abstract, and keywords. Okay, and articles are well written and readable. Okay, this is very important. So make sure that we, as an author, make sure that the articles are well written and readable. We, as an editor, should also make sure that the articles are well and readable. Okay, written well and readable. Okay, number 14. This is important. References to be indexed in MyCite. References should be in Roman alphabet. In other words, if your articles is in Chinese or in Arabic, you need to supply references in Roman alphabet. In other words, it must be transliterated. In other words, you have to spell out the words. Okay, you don't have to translate the word. You have to spell out the words in Roman alphabet. Katakanlah ya dalam Alhamdulillah, you tak payahlah kata thanks to God, kan? You kata you spell ALHAMDULILLAH. Okay, macam tu. So you transliterate the references. If you don't do that, we cannot index your journal. Okay, because we cannot input the references in the system. Okay, and the references are consistent with international reference style. We should use the standard international reference style. You know, you have Harvard, you have Chicago, you have APA, and so on. Okay, so you should adopt one of those, okay, rather than inventing a new reference style. Okay, and in your submission guide, you need to tell the author, potential author, your reference style. Okay, is it Chicago or APA or whatever? Okay, you can pick any of those reference style, because I see some journal, they invent their own reference style, which is jumbled up. Okay, for example, there are journal that start their reference with number 30 instead of number 1. Okay, so because they arrange their references at the back in alphabetical order. Okay, so the one with A, for example, is number 30. Okay, so please don't invent a new reference style. Okay, number 15, which is important, information for each article. You have title, abstract, keyword, references, full affiliation of all authors. Okay, E2, full affiliation of all authors. In other words, you need to put the full address of all authors. Okay, and then F. In other words, what I mean is that if it's from USM, you cannot just say Ali bin Ahmad, Unity Science Malaysia, Penang. Okay, you need to put the full affiliation, means Ali bin Ahmad, Department of Chemical Sciences, School of Chemical Sciences, University Science Malaysia, and the postcode and Pulau Pinang, Malaysia. Okay, put Malaysia juga sekali. Okay, if the authors does not put all those, you request them to supply the full address. Okay, indicate the corresponding author. Okay, with a star or something like that. Okay, acknowledgement, and then H is DOI number. It's not compulsory, but it's quite common today for journals to have DOI numbers for the article, so that authors can easily find these the articles. Okay, conflict of interest statement. This is important. Okay, just a simple statement. Author contribution statement. So each author should be identified with their contributions. And then you have article history, received date, accepted date, and published date. Okay, at least received date and accepted date. Published date, if you put, is okay too. Okay. So what I mean by transparency statement. So in about your journal, this journal is published by penerbit USM, owned by penerbit USM, and sponsored. Okay, spelling is sponsored by penerbit USM. The copyrights belong to penerbit USM. Okay, the article publication charge for each accepted article is how many ringgit? Or if there is no article publication charge, you should state there is no article publication charge or no article processing charge. Okay, so you need to state that even though you don't have a publication charge, you need to state there is no article publication charge. All right. So this transparency statement now is just recently that they, in the last few years they need it because they need to know who own this journal, and maybe Bill Gates, Elon Musk want to promote some idea, so we want to know who is behind this journal. Okay, you can. I think you can look at this on your own. Okay. Proses penilaian journal. Okay. MyCite. Penilaian journal MyCite. How do you evaluate a MyCite indexing journal for indexing? We look at the MyJournal. Okay, so you need to register for MyJournal, and then a committee at Pusat Citasi dan Citasi Malaysia will look at the basic criteria, okay, from this journal, from MyJournal list, and then from this it will be evaluated by experts and technical committee, and from there it will go through Jawatan Kuasa Pemandu for final approval. So the success rate is about 20%. Okay. We may think that our journal is already perfect, but when we go through very thoroughly and carefully, there are a lot of things that can be improved. Okay, and if the journal is not accepted this cycle, you should be able to know why it's not accepted. Okay. Proses penilaian, basic criteria. Lifetime here it means that at least I think it's at least 2 years in MyJournal. Okay, so if you index in 2023, by 2025 or 2026, you are eligible for consideration by MyCite. Okay, ISSN, ESN, quality control, frequency, website, publication ethics. These are the basic criteria just now. Okay, the criteria asas ni, basic criteria. So you have at least 2 years or 3 years. You have ISSN number. You have some form of quality control, and you publish on time, and you have a proper website, and you have publication ethics. Then you will be selected for further evaluation. Okay, if you don't have this, you will not be evaluated. Okay. Okay. Lifetime means the journal at least 2 years before the year of evaluation, and fully indexed in MyJournal for a minimum of 3 consecutive years of publication. Okay. You have the ISSN number, so everybody knows that. Let me skip that. You have a review process, quality control, and you state your quality control. Is it double blind or single blind? Okay, and you spell out the process. Okay, and frequency. Journal is published twice a year in June and December. You need to state the the year. Okay, the year. I mean the month explicitly. Okay, so what is the minimum number of issues per year? The minimum number is 1. Okay, you cannot have a journal published once in 2 years. Okay, that's not a journal. So a journal, at least 1 issue per year. Okay, how many maximum number of issues per year? There is no fixed rule. Okay, you can have every 2 months, every month, every week, like Journal Nature. Okay, every week. So there's no maximum number. Minimum is 1. And you need to state the month. You have a website, preferably in English. Okay, and then you have publication ethics. You have a comprehensive publication ethics. Okay, try to get as comprehensive as possible. Sometimes, maybe 10 years ago, a simple publication ethics is sufficient, but now a more comprehensive publication ethics is required. Okay. Proses penilaian. These are the one that I've gone through before, the 15 criteria. Timeliness, scope, editorial board, editorial standing, each index there, International Editorial Convention, manuscript submission guideline, publication ethics, types of peer review, single blind, double blind, speed of peer review, okay, received date, accepted date, overall presentation of articles, okay, best practice and transparency principles, number of articles, at least 20, language, at least have title, abstract, and keywords in English, references in Roman alphabet. You need an acknowledgement, and also if you have index in other databases, you need to spell that out too. Timeliness, okay. The journal state the frequency and publication month. This is very important. Okay. No delay or interruption in the publication schedule. So I normally tell editors that, let's say if it's for June issue, maybe by May it should be ready, it should be published. Okay, so in other words, you don't wait until June to publish it, you can publish it earlier. Field and scope must be unique. Okay. Many years ago, a generic title would be okay, but now you need quite a unique title and scope so that it adds value to the indexing body. Okay. Editorial board. Okay. Provide a list, the affiliation and diversity. Okay. So Malaysia, German, US, UK, and so on. Okay. Next one is editorial standing. Ini MyCite punya criteria ya. The journal has editors at least 3 with a reasonable number of publication, number of citation, age index, and specializes in the related field. So we want at least 3 ya. Editors ni with reasonably high number of publication citation in the related field. Okay, that's very important. So if it's a biology journal, okay, so a certain part of biology, the editors must have high number of citation and H index and so on in that particular field of biology. Okay. International convention, you have title, abstract, keywords, references, full affiliation, corresponding author, acknowledgement, or conflict of interest statement, author contribution statement, and article history. Okay. complete my submission manuscript submission guideline. Okay, not sufficient to have only template, but you need to describe how an author is supposed to prepare the manuscript. Okay, there are journals that are rejected for indexing even in Scopus because their manuscript submission guideline is not clear. Publication ethics, okay, a complete and comprehensive publication ethics. Types of peer review, single blind or double blind. Speed of peer review, okay, must be reasonable, okay. That would tell us how good the journal is managed. And overall presentation, okay. The graphs, the tables, how is it arranged, okay, and must look as clear and look as professional as possible. Best practice and transparency statement, okay, the journal is sponsored by whom, owned by whom, is there any APC, article processing charge, fees or whatever, it must be stated up front. Number of article, journal publishes a consistent number of articles every year, preferably 20 articles per year for normal issue. Okay. Would a journal be rejected if it only published 10 articles? No, it would not be. Okay, because some journals are very specialized, and so we will look at the nature of the journal. Okay. Language. Okay. Title, abstract, keywords in English. Okay, I'm about to finish now. References. If it's in other language, this is an example in Arabic, so you need to transliterate the references, okay, in its from its original language. Okay. Okay. Acknowledgement. Okay. The author would like to thank the Ministry of Education for, and so on. Okay. And special thanks to Automotive Engineering Center, University Malaysia Pahang, okay, for the technical support. Things like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so visibility and indexing in other databases. So try to get index in other indexing databases. Okay, right. So so why should we publish in local journals? Okay, that's a good question. Because there are certain research area that would be of interest to the local journals, the local researcher, and should be published in local journals. Okay, so other than supporting other countries' journal, we should also build up our own capacity to enrich the body of knowledge locally. Okay, in fact, MyCite should have been established much earlier. Okay, right after Merdeka, but at least we are doing it now. Okay, so so it's 10:30. So terima kasih lah. Okay, so these are the two QR codes. Satu untuk PowerPoint. Another one is for MyCite journalists. Okay, so I'll be happy to answer any question. Thank you, Puan Arinawati.
For the sharing of the information on how a journal can be cited in MyCite and full of criteria of the journal in order to make sure that everything is in following the standards. Okay, we did receive, now we go to the session of question and answer. Receive a few questions posted by the audience. So one of the question is from Yasmin Amira. Doctor, may I know what field of study that cover by MyJournal for the publications?
Okay, MyJournal, thank you very much for that question. We got many questions from that similar one. MyJournal cover all field of study, okay, which originates from Malaysia. In other words, journal that is published by Malaysian publisher in any field, okay. If you have a journal, let's say based in Malaysia, but published by Springer, for example, okay, that will not be covered by MyJournal, okay. But if it's based in Malaysia and published by a publisher in Malaysia or in whatever field, that would be covered by MyJournal. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dato. Hope it's answered the question from Yasmin. The next question is from Liza Sharmini. Can journals under society be listed in MyCite? Currently, MyJournals, MyJO, is it, I spell it correct, belongs to the society and collaborate with 3 main universities in Malaysia. MyJO is listed in MyJournals for nearly 4 years already. Okay, can the society be listed in MyCite?
Yes, so it's listed in MyJournal. It is eligible already because it's 4 years. It's eligible for consideration by MyCite. It does not matter from universities, from society or whatever, as long as the publisher is Malaysian. Okay, so let's say to further that, let's say your journal is published by a society in Malaysia, and we accepted it for indexing in MyCite. Okay, a few years later, let's say Springer would like to publish that journal. Okay, what we do is that we will stop indexing the journal because it's not, the publisher is no longer in Malaysia. Okay, that's the current policy lah. Okay. So yes, your journal is eligible for listing for indexing in MyCite.
So for this year, the journal need to be have to fill up the application for the citation, right?
Right. Yeah, there will be an announcement later, and you have to fill up the application.
Okay. The third question from Nur Hidayah Mustafa. Hi, Prof. A good day. How can we deal with past publication that have missed out the acknowledgement section in the manuscript? Thank you in advance, Prof.
Okay, good question again. If your journal missed acknowledgement in the manuscript in the past publication, you can ignore it. Okay, you don't have to redo anything. What I'm talking about in the future. And if, let's say, in 2021, no acknowledgement, 2022, no acknowledgement, we will look at the current issue. Okay, if your current issue has an acknowledgement, you fulfill the criteria. Right? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nur Hidayah. The first question from Rahmah binti Ahmad. Prof, for journals in Arabic only, do you advise us to start including articles in English and Malay to increase our potential to be indexed in MyCite? That's for Arabic journals.
All right. So you have a journal which is 100% in Arabic.
Yes.
The question is it better to include articles in English to increase the possibility of be indexing in MyCite? There is no such rule. Okay. In other words, if it's 100% in Arabic, it's fulfill everything, it can be indexed in MyCite. But if you want to include articles in English so that you get more articles, then it's okay too. So you don't have to do it, but if you want to do it, it's okay too. Right.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is also from Rahmah Inti Ahmad, how long after rejection can the journal reapply for MyCite?
Okay, I know that Scopus or ESCI, you have, they will give you can apply in 5 years or 3 years or something like that. But for MyCite, you can reapply again next year. There is no period of embargo or period of sitting down for a few years. You can reapply the next year. Okay, you just look at why you are rejected and improve on it, and we look at the latest issue. Okay.
Okay, that's a good news, Prof. No embargo. Next question is from Nurul Shahiza. Hi Prof, may I know what if one of the editorial board has retired from his or her institution, but we might still need her expertise? It is possible if we still appoint him or her as one of the editorial board. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, the answer is yes, because a journal does not look at you retire or not. We look at your expertise. Okay, so yes, you can reappoint him.
Okay, can proceed with the
Yes.
editorial board. Thank you. Next question is from Ahmad Subki Meskon. Apa prosedur masih sama jika jurnal diterbitkan secara bersama dengan institusi luar negara? Adakah prosedur masih sama?
Alright, so this is a trick question. I don't think I can answer this. But let me, let's say you have a journal and it's published with USM and let's say National University of Singapore. Okay. Alright. We need to look at your about statement tadi. This journal is owned by whom? Okay. Copyright belong to whom? And so on. So we have not come across where it's co-published by both. Okay. But if it's by both, I need to go back to the committee see what happened. Okay, because what we normally have is outright, like they first published by a university in Malaysia and then published by Springer or Elsevier, so we take them out. But in the case where it's co-published by two different publishers, I would think that, this is my personal opinion, that we can still index it, okay, because it's partly owned by a Malaysian publisher also. This is my personal opinion.
So need to be further evaluation, Prof?
Yes.
Okay, next question is from Nazmi Qayyum bin Hamdan. Adakah jurnal yang diindeks dalam MyCite akan sentiasa dikemaskini kualitinya sebagaimana yang dilakukan oleh Scopus?
Okay, so when you are in MyCite, we will look at your currentness, you know what I mean? Let's say now it's already 2023 and you still don't have any article in 2022. Okay, we will do a check on those, and if we think that the journal is not up to mark, we will tell them that, hey, please improve, so that you are not being thrown out of the because later on, okay, in the future we will have our own sort of the impact factor. We will calculate those, and if you are in MyCite and we cannot calculate those because your journal is not complete, that will be a problem for us. Okay, so in general, yes, it has to be of high quality. Okay, once it is in MyCite.
Yeah, up to the standard. Okay, yeah. Next question is from Saiful Azwan. Why journals from UIA are not indexed in MyCite, though the journals are established since 1997 and 2000 onwards? It is due to technical issues or performance issues? This is specifically about journals from UIA, Prof.
Okay, I have not checked whether there are no journal in MyCite for UIA, but the list the graph that I shown you just now, it's not the full list. Okay, it's not the full list. Those are university with at least 6 journal in MyCite. There is no we do not discriminate any universities or anything. As long as it is fulfill the criteria, then it will be indexed in MyCite. But we can look at journal that you're talking about, and we can see how we can improve those for the next cycle.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And next question is from Asadullah Shah. Can international journal from a foreign countries apply for MyJournals and MyCite indexing?
Okay, at this time, no. Okay, because we are trying to get the Malaysian journal up and running. Okay, to get it. So with the manpower, we are not indexing foreign journals at this point.
Okay, it's clear. It's only for Malaysian journals.
Malaysian publisher.
Malaysian publishers, okay.
Yeah, even it's a Malaysian journal, but published by foreign countries is not included.
Okay, the publisher must come from Malaysia.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other question? We're waiting. Okay, next question is from Muhammad Muzaffar Ali Khan Khatta. Salam and good morning. Once listed, have to apply every year, Dato?
No, one listed, you are listed. Or, unless you don't publish anymore, so you stop. Okay, so one listed, you are there forever.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Thank you. This from Syed Putra Syed Abu Bakar. What are the steps taken by MyCite to be recognized by worldwide scholars, especially researchers from Western countries?
Okay, what are the steps taken by MyCite to be recognized by worldwide scholars? Kan?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the answer is not by MyCite, but by Malaysian scholars themselves. Yes. In other words, they should publish quality articles in local journal. Okay, so maybe some good papers to international journals, but some good papers also to our local journal, so that later on MyCite will be recognized by scholars around the world. Okay.
Yeah. We need the support from our scholars, yes. Our scholars, yes. Okay, next question from Rama binti Ahmad again. Thank you for Rama. Is there any guidance or best practice on publication fee for journals not indexed in Scopus?
Okay, so good one. Is there any guide for publication fees if the journal is not indexed in Scopus? Okay, now I think if you are in, why people are willing to pay for journal in Scopus, because it is counted in your KPI, in your MyRA and so on, right? Okay, now because now MyCite is already counted in MyRA, so it is counted for your KPI. Then authors are willing to publish in MyCite Indexed Journal, and so you can think about if you need some financial support to support your journal. I think it is possible for you to charge publication fees for your journal, because now it's counted. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago it's not counted, then maybe not many, there's no commercial value, like, to put it bluntly, okay? But now it's counted in MyRA, so there's some value to it, and authors would be willing to pay some publication fees. What is the amount? Oh, that's quite difficult for me to to give, okay? But you have to look around and see what other MyCite Indexed Journal is charging, okay? But you must remember, out of the 354, 105 are indexed in Scopus, right? So when they're indexed in Scopus, some of them are start charging now. So the remaining about 200 plus journals which are not in Scopus, you may want to look at what they are doing. I cannot give you a specific guideline on the amount.
Okay. Next question is from Dr. Tunku Badaria Tunku Ahmad. The journal I'm published just 10 articles in every issue. In every issue, we have a combination of Malaysian and English and Arabic articles. For example, 6 English and 4 Arabic articles. Is this okay? Advisable?
This is okay. It doesn't matter what language is. If you have 10 articles, that would be acceptable. That's excellent. Okay. So it doesn't mean that foreign language is a minus and English language is a plus, because Scopus and WAS understand that some articles has to be written in their native language. Okay, umpamanya lah ya, kalau pantun dan sajak dan so on tu, it has to be written in its native language, and it's not a minus. Okay, so it's not something that they will penalize for writing in non-English. Okay? It's acceptable to write in non-English languages.
But with the abstracts in English, as you mentioned, Dato, right?
Title, abstract, keywords, references in Roman alphabet.
Okay.
Title, abstract, keywords in English, references in Roman alphabet.
Okay. I think that's about all that question and answer session, Dato.
Mm-hmm.
There are 14 answered questions. Thank you very much for all the questions that we received for this session today. And maybe last word from Prof. Dato to wrap up this session.
So if you have any other questions about MyCite journal publication, you can always email me. I have given my email in the PowerPoint, which you can download. So I'll be happy to answer those questions anytime. And thank you for attending. Thank you, Puan Arinawati.
Okay, thank you very much. We'd like to apologize for not buying for any inconvenience or during the session. Once again, on behalf of our organizing committee, University Science Malaysia, we would like to express our sincere thank you to Professor Dato as our speaker for today's webinar, and all the audience. Once again, we would like to remind all the audience to please fill out our e-feedback form to get the e-certificate, and also to the USM staff, please do so for your CPD point. Okay. At the same time, we would like to promote our YouTube channel, USM Library YouTube channels, and our Facebooks for all the webinars that were done by the University Library. So you can take a look all recorded webinars, including our session today. Okay, with that, I thank you again and see you next time. Take care, everyone, and stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much, Dato, for the sharing for today. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.